Quick review today. Why? Because it just works. When it comes to a workhorse lens, that's what you want. There are products where I like quirks and character, but when it comes to a full frame 24 to 70 millimeter lens, I want to capture the moment or the scene or the event. I want to get the shot accurately and quickly. And then I want to do it again the next day. I want it dust and splash proof, and I don't care about weight. I want metal. It might get dinged up sooner or later, and I can't have that shutting down the shoot. Oh, and if it costs an arm and a leg, I don't want it, because Mama just bought a Leica. If you couldn't tell from the title today, I'm talking about Sigma's workhorse, the 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 DG/OS HSM art lens. It's an art lens, so this ain't your grandma's third-party lens. Sigma's art lenses mean business. Let's break it down with the what and why. For one, Sigma loaned me the F-mount version of this lens to take here, there, and everywhere for a few weeks. And Snapchick's no dummy. Nikon loaned me a D780. Lens borrowed, camera borrowed. I'm not above being a bit of a camera vagabond right now, and huge thanks to both Nikon and Sigma for trusting me with some of their best gear. With this borrowed gear in hand, we did what we always do. We went out and we took care of business. This particular version of the lens is specific to DSLRs with Nikon, Sigma, and Canon mounts available. There is a newer mirrorless version. More on that on its own video in the very near future because I borrowed that one too. The DSLR version has a few tricks up its sleeve. For one, it has optical stabilization in the lens. Very good for DSLR users because in-body image stabilization is really only prevalent with mirrorless cameras. The Nikon version of the lens also has Nikon's electromagnetic aperture control. Overall, the lens is a beast and it checks the boxes for what I am looking for in a mid-range workhorse lens. And I mentioned those earlier. The construction, the durability, and the price is hard to ignore. The list price is $1,000 less than the Nikon 24 to 70 f2.8 VR f-mount lens. Going by today's advertised prices, it's still much cheaper than the Nikon, about $800 less. Now I'm gonna ride the fence here. I love my Nikon lenses, and if that's what you are after, like I have often been, you might find yourself spending the extra money on them, and that's fine. One thing I've learned by borrowing and buying some different third-party lenses is that the gap ranges from narrow to non-existent when it comes to third-party performance versus lenses branded by the camera makers. It all depends on the lens, and one thing I've learned with Sigma's art lenses is that if there are compromises, I can't seem to find them. Choices and competition make it better for all of us. I'm sure some camera brands don't always feel that way, but they get their share of love from us buyers. One thing about Nikon lenses is that the Nikon body you have knows how to deal with any distortion correction, any chromatic aberration, and maybe some other secret sauce when it comes to your camera and lens combination. With a third-party lens on your camera body, you're not getting those corrections in camera, but some software, like Lightroom, has lens profiles built in so you can choose to apply those corrections while you're editing. Obviously, I've got the sample images we captured rolling through the video. They speak for themselves, and they're exactly what I would expect from the latest and greatest Nikon DSLR combined with one of Sigma's finest lenses for Nikon. If I had to find one small thing to comment on, the HSM on the DSLR version of this lens is very quiet, but if you are using on-camera audio, you may pick up some focusing noise if you are in a continuous focusing mode like auto area with face detect. Don't get me wrong. Autofocus for video, especially on the D780, which has broken the rules for what is possible for video on a DSLR, is fabulous, but it's not exactly completely silent like some of the latest lenses from mirrorless cameras. It's tough to even comment on this though, because traditionally with DSLRs, the expectation is that the focusing is very loud, and as DSLR lenses go, this one's fabulous, but mirrorless does have me spoiled when it comes to this aspect. Folks, the comments are always open for you to share your experiences with this lens, with other Sigma lenses or other third-party lenses, and we do have that D780 review coming up in the near future, so ask any questions that you'd like me to cover in that review, and as always, thank you for watching.